Hi, this is Manju Ramanan, and welcome to another episode of Faith Stories. First of all, I'm a storyteller, so stories are very interesting to me. But through the medium of stories, I have this very interesting gentleman on the show who has simplified some really philosophical facts to very palatable, very chewable kind of a ideology that we can all understand and can all actually savor and apply in our lives. On my show today, I have Mr. Kumar Krishnamoorthy, also called Dhyanguru, and he's written this beautiful book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Inner Light Cosmic Meditation. And this book is a very unusual book because it's not just a book written for the sake of writing, it is written in a trance. It was dictated on a dictaphone. I mean, he narrated this book on a dictaphone, and it was then compiled into a book form. Now, isn't that interesting? Isn't that unusual? So on my show today, I have Mr. Kumar Krishnamoorthy. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So tell me about the book, because this was written in a trance, is what we know. So it's quite unusual, isn't it?
Yes, it is unusual for me also, because I was a seeker of meditation, and it was very strange that despite a lot of guidance from veterans, this thing called meditation wouldn't happen in me. And so I had almost come to a conclusion that probably I am not a fit candidate for meditation. And then all of a sudden, things started happening to me. And one thing led to the other. And then once a celestial energy starts bathing you, it has its own purpose. Nothing from nature comes to you without an aim or a purpose. In the interaction with these energies, one could also personalize your aims. That's a different aspect. Right now, I'm talking about my interaction with the celestial cosmic energy as a student of cosmic energy. I wanted to learn meditation. And so, in the invisible classroom of meditation, the Creator took me through the various lessons of meditation, step by step. And a stage came when people started meeting me. They started having experiences. I, in turn, started having experiences as a guide. And this kind of interaction went on. And so a stage came after a couple of years when I was confident that I could be a teacher of meditation. So I have graduated from a seeker to a student to a teacher of meditation. It is at that stage that I met a God-realized soul at the Mahakumbh in Allahabad in the year 1989. His name was Baba Bhutnath, and he was about 89 years old. What impressed me most about him was his physical fitness. At that age, he was ramrod straight, teeth intact, eyes absolutely without any spectacles, all faculties intact, and he was an epitome of physical fitness. And he was a tapasvi, and so he had all the siddhis with him. And so he said to me at the Kumbh that I would write a book and it will be well received. Now, prior to that, I have been a corporate person. And I used to give lectures on export, import, shipping. So I presumed that I would be writing or speaking on shipping or writing a book on shipping. Little did I know that after I came back from Kumbh, the energy started flowing out of me, and the words of Baba Bhutnath kept on reminding me from time to time. Then, after a couple of years, I got some time from my professional work, and I said that maybe I have gathered enough experience of meditation and I could possibly share it with the others. But then I had a problem. Now, I was not a conventional author. nor did I have the experience of writing for long hours with the hand. In my professional career, God was very kind to me. I always had the best positions one would look for, and so I dictated whatever I had to say professionally. So I got an idea that why not I open a dictaphone and start speaking into it. Now, all these things are inspired by that very creative force which wants me to do something. And it has nothing to do with me. This is the primary thing which one should understand. When you are blessed to do a work, those energies intuitively guide you in every department of the game, so to say. And so on the first occasion, I closed my eyes and I was instantly be able to go into very deep meditation. And as you would probably know, that in the deep state of meditation, all the apertures get locked. But the Lord the Merciful enabled me to speak in that state, which you called as trance. Words effortlessly came out of my mouth, and it was, the capacity of the dictaphone was, I think, some 45 minutes. So after 45 minutes, it clicked, and so I had to perforce stop. Then the next time I sat was after a couple of days, when I started getting the impulses that I should now sit for dhyan and narrate the next episode, so to say. And like that, this exercise went on for a period of 6 months. On and off, I would sit for meditation, and in that state of meditation, I was enabled to speak. The most intelligent part of this whole exercise is that words flowed as if one was dictating chapter-wise. So that is the genius of the creative energies. And ultimately, when on the last occasion, towards the 6-month period, when I sat for meditation, words would not come out of me.
Okay.
And so probably I knew that the book was
Complete.
over. So I went into my dhyan, and I was shown a vision, which I will share with you, because that is very important, not only from the point of view of telling you that the book was over and it was shown to me in dhyan, but that also would give you an idea how visions come to you in meditation and how they guide you. I was shown a lady applying the lipstick and then touching it up, which means the book is over, you just touch it up.
Okay, that's a vision.
Now look at it.
Amazing. Yeah.
So the Lord understands you and gives you visions according to your capacity to understand the same.
Right.
So these are all the inner workings of meditation, that you are enabled to perceive certain things. For example, the visions that come in meditation or the audio flashes that one hears, they are very fast, and they are not like for more than a few microseconds. But once you start doing meditation, you are enabled to catch those very fine nuances of either sound waves or visuals that you might see in meditation. So coming back to your question, the unusual journey of the book ended there, and thereafter a bigger struggle lay before me. I had, I think, filled up about 28 sides of the cassette of 45 minutes duration each, which means about 14 cassettes. And they had to be transcribed.
Right.
Now, it was not a very easy task. I could have never done it because I didn't have that kind of physical time with me. And so the thing was there, and ultimately a person arrived, and that person was facilitated by nature again to transcribe the entire material error-free. So the short point is that when nature embarks on anything, it completes the whole trajectory. It
Right.
doesn't leave anything
Unfinished.
So this person who came to transcribe those tapes was a candidate for meditation.
Okay.
And the beauty is, whilst transcribing the tapes, this person was enabled to go into deep states of dhyan. It was a lady, and she was able to understand the various nuances of meditation
Right.
as told in those tapes.
So it became her journey as well.
Yes, it became a journey for her away from the Guru. The most important part I am trying to establish here is that the Guru was not physically
Present.
proximal to her. Still, she was able to experience even out-of-body experiences. And that is why Anandi Ravinath is her name. She is probably a more competent person to talk about
The book.
the inner light cosmic meditation.
So, Mr. Krishnamurthy, tell me that the Inner Light Cosmic Meditation, the book is written in a meditative state. So, what was your state at that time? And tell me about the process of creating this book.
So basically, this book, although we have to call it a book, was not born in a traditional manner. Generally, when one says that I have written a book, one presumes that you have written it physically with your hand. This book followed the tradition of our land, that is Bharat. If you go into the scriptures and their formation, the scriptures were also deliveries, oral deliveries. So since this knowledge was to be given to me by the creative forces, they possibly felt that it should not be born out of a human mind or a human brain by the process of thinking.
Right.
So if it is written by me, then I have been enabled to think about it, and then I have written about it. Now that is not true in the case of this book, and that is why towards the end of the book I have clearly mentioned that it is only for practical reasons that I claim to be the author of the book. Otherwise, for all intents and purposes, this book belongs to the forces.
Apparently, it was narrated on a dictaphone, and the entire book is just a narration that you narrated too, and it was then compiled into a book form.
True. I was enabled to speak. That is the correct way of looking at it. Why, I will explain. Now, when I wanted this work to start, I was intuitively urged to start the work. Now, those are very great details. We will not go into it. And let's say that I started on day one. And I kept a dictaphone in my presence, went into my own meditation, and started speaking. And after the capacity of the dictaphone clicked at 45 minutes, I had to stop.
So, what
True.
was the process?
The book was born in a very unusual manner. Now, when somebody writes a book, we are all aware that he or she would take a pen and a paper and write. This was not by that manner. I was intuitively urged to sit for my meditation, and in that state of meditation, I opened up a dictaphone and words started flowing out of my mouth. It was as if I was enabled to speak on meditation. And this journey went on for a period of 6 months, and each session could not go beyond 45 minutes for the simple reason the dictaphone had a capacity of 45 minutes and it would click. The moment it clicked, I had to stop, and the proof that I was not actually the author of those words was because I was very curious to myself listen to what I had spoken. And this was true on each occasion.
Did you surprise yourself?
Yes, I was not only surprised about the quality of the matter, the content, but also the style of narration and the comfort with which it was delivered. So all the nuances of the writing process, which was communicated through the oral means, was itself very fascinating. It was like something very, very unusual and very exciting to me as well. Now this went on, and then I sat again for meditation, and words wouldn't flow out of me. And so I had no other recourse but to go into dhyan and find out what was it that I was supposed to do. So I was shown a vision which I would like to share with you. I was shown a lady touching up her lipstick. And so I knew from the vision that the book is over and that I had to touch up. So in meditation, visions that come to you are very, very custom made, so to say. Like I would be shown for a particular act or for a particular information, a particular visual. Now it may not happen with you.
Right.
For the same communication of the same topic, you would be shown it in a different manner because each one
Has
has
a
a different
sensibility.
understanding or a different kind of grasp towards things. So, and there is also an element of teasing, an element of quizzing.
Okay.
So when that vision came, it was not that I was immediately able to understand. I started
Thinking.
thinking, okay, why was this shown to me? Then I have to understand that this is in relation to the book.
Right.
Now all this calls for some kind of mental exercise.
Right.
So these exercises are also part and parcel of meditation. This is what one has to understand.
Right.
That when you start unraveling the mystery of nature, then nature takes you to a higher step
Right.
and then gives you some more inputs.
Yeah.
And in this particular manner, nature progresses you in the realms of dhyan.
And the book was then compiled by
Yes.
a lady who
True.
also was on a spiritual journey herself.
Yes. The book was, the tapes were complete, and now the struggle was that one had to transcribe them for the purpose of printing. Now, I do not know whether anyone has ever had this experience of listening to a tape and then writing it down. It's a very big struggle.
Yeah.
If you want it error-free, you have to move it back and forth, you have to listen, then only it happens. And everybody cannot do it. It's a job of tremendous caution and patience.
Right.
So this person who came to me probably was the next candidate for meditation.
Right.
And so she did this job so beautifully that not only she finished the job, but in the process of finishing, a lot of transformation took place in her.
Own life.
And she became a meditative person. And her faith in meditation became so strong and so clear that she became a teacher of meditation. And as we talk today, she is the author of a book called Mind Your DNA, which is a combination of spirituality and science.
Right.
And this person is a a postgraduate from the Indian Institute of Technology, Mumbai, IIT Mumbai, and her name is Anandi Ravinath. And I'm very proud to say this because the person took to this piece of work at that time with great devotion and succeeded in doing it error-free. And as a result of that, nature endowed her with absolute good knowledge of meditation.
Okay. Right. How has the book changed you as a person?
Well, the book is a reflection of what has happened to me. If you look at the book, in the manner in which the book has progressed chapter-wise, it's a clear guide to meditation. It's like a guide to meditation.
Right.
It reflects a success of a struggler on the path to meditation. So when I look at ILCM, I feel very satisfied. I feel very satisfied because nature held back everything for me on the route to meditation because the nature wanted to fill me up to the brim so that I could be enabled to write this book.
Right.
So one has to understand that when it comes to esoteric learning, it is quite different from conventional learning.
Right.
They are two different schemes on the path to knowledge and wisdom.
Okay.
So basically, if you ask me personally how have I changed or how it has affected me, yes, meditation in its fundamentals is a creative energy, and once it is a creative energy, it knows what is to be done on a daily basis. So what happens is, it sets your daily agenda, one, and in the course of that, it also aids and abets you to perform better your daily chores. Now that being so, obviously, it increases your level of positivity, it increases your level of success, it improves your magnetism, your charm, and overall joy and happiness, the quantum gets magnified.
Right.
So possibly I have started feeling better in the overall sense. And it's not that your basic nature would ever change.
Right.
My own experience tells me that your basic nature cannot be altered unless you wish to alter it.
Change it, yeah.
So if I do not want to get angry, meditative energy will help me not to get angry.
Right.
But if I choose,
So it only is amplifying what you are in the core.
that's right, nature never compels you. This is what people should understand. You are the captain of your ship, and that's it. Nature supports you in your endeavors the way you wish to.
Right.
Now, there is a flip side to it. Can these energies be used negatively? No. Why? Because they are creative energies.
Right.
So you cannot cheat them.
Right.
So if somebody thinks that you can use meditation and harm somebody, it will not work.
Right. There's also a kind of a spiritual arrogance today in a lot of people, that they believe that if they are into this space, they are something better than the others. Whereas your book talks about how it's even more bringing you to yourself is what it is. So how do you see the difference?
You see, what happens is, as I said, basic nature is important. If your basic nature is selfish, okay, then anything on it will have the touch of selfishness. But let me tell you one thing, that spiritual people all are not meditative. This is what one has to understand. They are scholars. Many of the spiritual people are scholars. They are pundits. So they cannot be put in the traditional spiritual slot. But what happens is, when we speak generally, we are very casual about it.
Right.
There is a distinction between religiosity and spiritualism. They have two different things altogether. Well, that's a subject in itself. Well, arrogance is something, attitude, arrogance, all this comes because of, let's say, dynamism, which is progressing. What happens is when intelligence is brewing, it is sharp, okay? Till it reaches the height of wisdom, all this ego bursts and ego tantrums will continue. But these very people, after some time, could
Calm
settle.
down.
I'm not saying all will
Could
settle.
calm down.
Could settle, could calm down, could realize that their attitude was unnecessary, their tantrums were not part of the success story that they have achieved, and things, they may mellow down.
Right.
They may mellow down. But meditation in itself is not going to make anything happen per se,
Right.
because it is an energy which is bathing you.
Right.
Okay? Now, it is bathing me. I have artistic tendencies. I will become poetic.
Sharper.
I will be more aesthetic and things like that. The same energy it bathes somebody else who wants to be a disciplinarian, very strict, and things like that in him or her. The same
It'll
energy
aggravate that.
will also enable him or her to speak on dhyan or meditation, but their entire persona would be different,
Right.
will be inflexible,
Right.
and things like that. But I personally feel that it is very important to humanize divinity.
Right.
Why? Because unless and until any energy which is celestial, creative, divine, if it doesn't dovetail to your daily life, it is an alien activity then, and doesn't really come in the ken of life.
Right.
And so I think every effort of ours should be to make life more interesting for ourselves and for others, to make life meaningful for us and others, to make life beautiful and joyous and peaceful for us and others. And it should distill joy. In fact, a meditative person, wherever he or she goes, it is like a candle going in a dark room.
Right.
So it expunges, it removes
Illuminates.
darkness of various shades and brings in joy, brings in positivity and things like that.